thought we were all calmed down. So hopefully, um, this is a Chilean wine. It's a red. It's called Santa Alicia, and it's actually quite good for anybody who does or enjoys wine. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. All right. Since V-Day is around the corner, right? We got through the Super Bowl now. Then so here's the Romance Angels. Okay. Get going on. Get going on that. Let's see what comes out for everybody today. Okay. So thank you for joining the reading, especially if you were in the chat today. Remember, do be kind to others, and especially if you were in the chat, do like the video. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video. Okay. Okay, first Romance Angel that's coming out. New love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Okay, but truth be told, it wanted to come out on reverse. So somebody in your past is like, no. So for some of you, it could be a situation where it's like, do you have dos novios? I always used to crack up when I would go into this, when I was in college, and I would go into this burrito place and order my burrito or nachos, and the guy behind the counter, he'd be like, do you have a boyfriend? I'd lie, I'd be like, yes, I do. And he was like, do you have 2 boyfriends? I was just like, oh my God, what is this dude? He's like, that won't stop me, Oh my goodness. So watch out for those little romancers out there. They might already be occupied, right? Or married or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like, why aren't you paying that person attention? Why am I your target for all this Valentine's affection, right? So think about that. Yeah. Retreat. You might be going on a Valentine's retreat with a special someone. It says it's time to disconnect from the world. Yeah. Your Valentine's retreat's not necessarily going over to your buddy's house to watch football, is it? Right? You time to switch gears. Do something the opposite of that, right? So that could be where this new love comes into play. Maybe you need to take a new approach to how you've been loving this person, right? And understand they're not your bro, they're not your pal, they're not your cuz, this is your partner, right? And this is the person you're supposed to show those romantic affections towards, right? So a new approach may be needed here. And retreating might be the answer to that, okay? Where you can, get to know this person, spend quality time with this person. The famous Sex in the City episode where Miranda and Steve go on their honeymoon, and it's like she has no cell reception and she's freaking out. Some people have a hard time disconnecting from the frequency of busyness. Okay, so as if you're the more relaxed partner, then that is your job to help them, get more used to that. Let them understand it's okay. And don't be like, oh, well, you just don't need to worry. Well, show them that you already made a plan. Then they won't worry. It's very, I mean, all the type A people understand. They understand this. This is why sometimes those types of people get together, because they're like, look, the other way is kind of fun, but I would rather have my luggage at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Instead of, oh, we ended up in, I don't know what country we're in now. Where's our credit cards? You know what I mean? Like, for some people, that's just a little much, right? Yeah, I think y'all get it. I think y'all get it. Get, oh my God, look at what that says. Getting to know each other. I feel like I'm on Wheel of Fortune. So it says here, as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So getting to know each other, this is going to happen, right? When you retreat away, right? You don't act in front of your partner the same as you do your girlfriends or your bros or your family or your work colleagues. Blah, blah, blah. Or may you have known the famous quote, etc., etc., etc. Getting to know you, right? Getting to know all about you. Getting to know you, showing how much you care. All right. Um, you know, it's not about like, oh, well, I wanted them to do this, so then I did that. No, this is the opposite of that. This is like somebody actually wanting to, oh, well, we did this because I know they like fancy coffee, so we went and hunted down the fancy coffee shop in town one morning on our vacation, and that was one of our mornings on vacation. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me they don't serve tea at them fancy coffee shops, so I don't want to hear about it. From the people that are like, well, I don't drink coffee. It's kind of like the day after the Super Bowl. Trust me, you will find somebody unhappy with the result. Whether it was how the game was played, whether it was the referees, whether it was the entertainment, the location, the commercial, you know what I mean? However you want to say it. It's like, oh, is I thought America's favorite pastime was baseball, but our actual like almost most community based pastime is complaining about the Super Bowl. And I feel like maybe for other countries it's more like complaining about the World Cup. You know what I mean? Something like that. But I mean the World Cup's like a month long, right? So, which I believe is going to be held in North. I mean, it's like we're having the World Cup is going to be over the summer, right? Anyway, um, express your love. Let's see here. Let's see here. What else? True love. This is the romance of a lifetime. Okay. Not just, oh, well, they were cute, hee hee ha ha, type thing. Yeah, attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Yeah. I feel like this is something mature. This is something full grown. And it is something true, right? It's tangible. Okay. All right. I guess I'll go ahead and oh my God. Maybe it's because I'm interrupting his chewing. I don't know. Yeah, it's like. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the Lover's Oracle here. Okay. This person's saying they are blocked. Maybe that's why you were, maybe that's why you got the new love card for some of you. Okay, because maybe, yeah, there's somebody in your energy, and you're like, not this person. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, because maybe you have them blocked, right? So yeah, for some of you, you're definitely looking for the new, but as I said, as it came out in reverse, you might need a new approach. So if you do have this person blocked, I guess you might get some, and I'm not necessarily encouraging this, by the way, because, you know, don't be going out there doing crazy stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's restraining orders already in place, you know what I mean? Like, understand that's there for a reason. Right? Right. Okay, but you know, somebody sent you a postcard or a gift in the mail or something like that, right? You might be aware of that versus blocking them on your social media or something. Okay, so just take that for how it is, and that doesn't mean you're not just gonna like couldn't randomly bump into that person like at the grocery store or something. I mean, that could easily happen, right? Anyway, the way I have treated you was wrong, it says here. So the person that wants to retreat with you, they might need to apologize first and say, you know, hey, yeah, because you might be like, I'm not going anywhere with you. Right? Because maybe in the past, the way they treated you was wrong. Okay. So, and that might have been a signal for them to disconnect from the world where it's like they realized they were treating good people in their life poorly. And it's like, what sense does that make? What good is that doing them? It's not doing them any good. And they finally got that wake up call. Whether or not you want to be waking up next to them, that's another story. Right? Right? That's why for some of y'all, you got the new love card out there. So, what Jody Watley say? I'm looking for a new love, baby. A new love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. And then she does the talking part. How does it feel? Dun, 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 dun. Right. You deserve better. See? See? It says getting to know each other. So maybe that's part of it is like maybe you got to know this person and you realize you're like, ooh, this is how they treat people. Like, no, I wouldn't ever want myself to be treated this way. So yeah, it might be you know, for some of you understanding that you do have to get to know somebody, right? Before either having feelings or, you know, making those moves, right? Okay. So, where it says you deserve better, you might be choosing better as well by getting to know this new love. Okay, it's not meaning it's not going to work out. It's mean you're just taking it kind of one step at a time type thing. If I could go back in time, I would handle as differently. This person says, okay, so, but you still have true love here. So this is what I'm saying. I don't know that it's necessarily this person, right? You might have somebody who, you know, where they don't have to go back in time. You know what I mean? Like they already knew. You know, they didn't have to go hang out with their bros, hoes, and trash crew for yet another round of whatever, right? In order to figure it out, right? Because some people, they just want to do that to you to see if you'll still kick it with them after all that. And then if it doesn't work out, oh, well, whatever. Because who are you? You're somebody who lets people walk on you, right? Now, somebody else who likes to manifest wisely might be like, that looks like a good one. I don't know that I want to mess that one up by going and acting a fool. We all have choices, don't we? You know, they'll be like, oh, she was there, man, and oh, really? All those times you made sweet, sweet love, they tied you down to the bed. Is that what happened? Yeah, this person is saying, will this pain ever stop? They are a little regretful of their actions and they wish they could be attracting someone like you right now, and they're not sure that that's going to happen, and that's why they're in pain, and that's why they're saying if they could turn back the hands of time, but we all know that that's not possible. In the meantime, collective, you may have finally decided to agree with this person and say, yes, I do deserve better. So, you know. Anyway. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. Should we do some tarot here, maybe? Yeah, let's sip of this. All right, y'all. This could be an emperor too. You know how they are when they don't get their way. Yeah, well. Even the emperor's got to play by the rules, right? So, just saying. Just saying. Just saying. And like people who it's like just because like they made you their little whipping post or their little punching bag or the butt of their joke, you know what I mean, just because they did that in the moment and you're just like, okay, I see. That does how you left that situation feeling, right? So I'm just saying that, especially if you are somebody who's like, oh, well, let's do a Galentine's, let's do a bro date, like whatever. Screw this couples thing, right? Say you end up like running into somebody that you used to, you know, and I know sometimes in the moment it's easy to feel some like a tinge of envy or jealousy or something, but then you also have to remember the reason why you are not with that person in the first place, right? And it's like, um, okay, you know. And then, sometimes you realize it's like, oh yeah, they were out, they didn't they couldn't have handled it. You know what I mean? Like, amateur hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I see. That's what you got going on over there. Okay. And it's that whole what's the movie? The Way We Were, the Katie Hubble thing, how she's complicated, then he goes with somebody who, fits in with his crew and doesn't say much. You know what I mean? Whereas the other character is loud and but she believes in something, you know. Whereas the other person, we didn't really ever find out what that was. You know what I mean? In terms of that. Anyway, it's a interesting movie. Knight of Cups. Yeah, okay, so be sure that this new love isn't something that you have blocked. I feel like this Knight of Cups is a little confused. Okay, so they might not be sure as how to contact you, especially if they don't have your phone number, right? Because social media, I mean, there's so many scammers out there. It's like, how do you even know you're talking to the right person? Things like that. So yeah, that might be something that this person feels blocked starting this new love with you because of the way that they want to be able to contact you. Okay. Four of Pentacles. Okay, so Four of Pentacles with the way I've treated you is wrong. So essentially this person was cheap when it came to you, or they showed their cheap side, right? It was like, oh yeah, I can't do that for you, right? And then, meanwhile, you're like seeing their vacation in Florida and stuff, and you're like, yeah, okay, bro, whatever. It's like you're one step away from being a passport bro at this point. And and then those dudes end up turning around. Oh, well, she only wanted me for my money. Well, you only wanted her because she was cost less than the other one. All relationships cost money. Time is money, money is time. Even if you're stay at home, somebody's putting time into that house. Cooking meals, cleaning, watching kids, all that kind of stuff. So when you think about your life as currency, it's like, well, maybe they need to be confused a little bit. Make sure they're worth it. Make sure they could even figure out how to find you in the first place. Yeah, here you go, lover's card. You ever watch those movies where they find the love, right? These days it's like they don't even want to try and find it at the beginning. They just want to gift it to them on a silver platter. It's like, well, if you go missing, how hard do you think they're going to go looking for that? No, they're just going to think somebody else is going to give them that silver platter again. So, yeah, look at that, 10 of Cups. That don't come around every day, does it? Does it? Exactly. You deserve better. Getting to know each other, okay? Yeah, maybe you are somebody who's like, I enjoy family time. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy blah, 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 right? Is this person committing to that with you? Or are they, cheapening out? like I know there's a lot of AI out there, but I don't think all those photos were fake, right? Going on this date with that broad, going on tropical vacation with this other broad, right? You know what I mean? It's like, go back in time and do what? Stop hoeing around? I mean, that's what they wanted to do. It's like, what are they committing to? Okay. Anyway. Seven of Swords. Yeah, I get this very sneaky feeling from this person. So if this person comes back around and is like, oh, but you're my true love, it's like, yeah, well, my true love is not somebody who wants to stab me in the back. My true love is not somebody who wants to go and have side relationships. My true love is not somebody who wants to cheap out and then go around and act like Daddy Warbucks to everybody else in their life. Right? And it's like, okay. You're right, I can buy my own wine. I enjoy that myself. Life's too short to drink crap wine. It's a pretty one, actually, I think. I think the wine guy would even like that one. Mm-hmm. And especially because I got it on sale less than $10 for, it was like $11.99. And yeah. Queen of Wands. Look at you, collective. That's your overall energy. See how kind of bored she is? She's like, oh my God. She's like, are you telling me I got all dressed up just so I could come and watch this rerun of when Harry met Sally, when Harry actually likes Sally, but decides instead, right, to do all the other things, right? Kind of in that vein, right? And she's like, yeah, I've seen that. She's like, I've seen that one. So yeah. Or you ever watch like movies, or you end up listening to a song and you're like, oh wait, that's a remake of this, or oh, that's like the same plot line as such and such from years and years ago. It's like, like you know what I mean? How they kind of just sneak it in there. But this is like, where they were doing it in order to be deceptive, right? Because the Seven of Swords came out. It's almost like, oh, if only I could hide all the ways that I stabbed them in the back. But they already did that. Right? And it's like, what would your bestie tell you that knew this information? They're like, oh no, like don't go out with them because they were, hey, they were saying this and they were doing that and they were working with such and such and so and so, and you know what I mean? Like, you really want to try and trust that person? It's like, yeah, we've seen this episode of Dynasty. Why do you think they sit around and look so bitchy and bored? Because they're like, I see. You think you can just come in here. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. All right. So fire energy, Aries, Leo, and as Sagittarius, this kind of like sassiness, I feel like could be making you attractive at the moment. This is also kind of giving me that Mardi Gras vibe with, the kings and queens that sit on the floats, for their crew, and different crews and whatnot. Anyway, um, yeah. Yeah, somebody's noting in the chat. It's like, yeah, I've seen this. I don't want to sit here and watch you continue to self-destruct. I have better things to do with my time, right? It's at a certain point you have to push on the gas and continue driving past the train wreck, past the car wreck, and say and realize, there's first responders there. Okay, they got it. They got it under control. This is out of my hands. And I hate to say it, like, you're kind of like without batting an eyelash about it, but there's nothing for you to do. Nothing for you to do except listen to common sense, right? And you're like, yeah, I get that. And you're like, ugh, right? But think of it this way: it's easy. It's not confusing. You already know the answer. Oh, what happens when somebody tries to do this? Oh, I see. Yeah, we have to kind of shuffle them to the back burner of thought, if any at all, right? And move on with our day and say, yes. We'll regroup and do what? Attract that new love in. Okay? Mm-hmm. And it's like, and have you seen that one before? Start asking yourself that. Have you actually? Or did you just think you did? Right? So many people getting that, oh, yeah, I said, oh, yeah. They're so jaded about everything. They don't want to get excited about nothing. And it's like, well, it doesn't give folks much to work with. You know? But hey, do up your makeup a little bit, maybe put on a little nice dress outfit, nice fit, get maybe you would do put a little, hair jewelry, whatever. Some people, girls wear them little animal ears and little kind of crown tiaras and stuff that have jewels on them, or jeweled headbands and stuff. Girls, you can do anything you want. You can do barrettes, those, sparkly shit, you know rhyme and doodle it up. Anybody still got their bedazzler? Come on now. You know what I'm saying? And for some of you, you could have a pet where you're just like, yeah, I may be alone, but I'm not that alone, right? Like, me and my cat will have some nice chats, you know, getting away from folks that want to have anything to do with this, right? And I think part of why this person is saying this, that they were saying if I could go back in time, I would handle this differently, is because I feel like they know you've caught them red-handed. Like you've seen the evidence, like, it's on the video. So, again, this is what you're focused on, right? And it might be a little bit of disappointment where it's like, oh, they didn't cut the mustard, right? But you know what? That doesn't mean that the next one won't, right? So I feel like that's why this Knight of Cups has a little bit of confusion right now as well. Because this other person may have been blocking because of their actions as well and what they were about. Right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, when will it end? Right? I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I got it. Right? remember what you're trying to attract in. Okay, something that's grown, right? Like we don't need to be at the children's table right now. We do not need to be at the children's table because we know how to wear our crowns. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So since there is yet 1 week left, right, until of Mardi Gras, right? Maybe get out a little crown or make yourself a little paper crown or something and have a little bit of fun and treat yourself better. Treat yourself with royalty. When you put on a crown, you might pull your chin up. Maybe you'll sit with a better posture. Yeah, she's kind of slouched over. Tisk tisk, right? We need to be sitting upright in our chairs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I, I was watching this video, and the lady was talking about that a lot of Vietnamese furniture is made out of wood and hand carved and very intricate, but hard to use because of the back of the chair is so intricate. And I thought, yeah, that chair is not. It's meant for you to be sitting at the edge and doing your soup properly. Like that's what it's meant for. You know what I mean? It's meant for a nice formal dinner. It's not meant for somebody to sit slouching in it. You know, not like like this is more like an office chair that I'm using currently. Okay, so nothing against saving your nickels, right, collective? But when it comes to this person, they cheapened out. Okay, and you're kind of realizing that. You know, um, you know, maybe they thought you were from the wrong side of the tracks. Maybe they thought, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? This is how I don't comprehend things the same way as some of those folks because, everybody's got to eat. Everyone needs clothes and everybody, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you poop in a fancier toilet perhaps or something? You know what I mean? So, when you're retreating with somebody who isn't pretentious, isn't going to put on airs and make you feel like, oh, I'm so lucky to be around this person because their shit doesn't stink. What? The thing about maturing about roses is understanding that rose does not last forever. Not in its natural state. It's not meant to. It's meant to be enjoyed. Just as life is meant to be enjoyed moment by moment. If these people are so fucking hard up for whatever they're hard up for, tell them to go get one of them sex robots or some shit. You know what I mean? Or sex dolls, right? Because they like to throw money around at stuff. Right? But when it came to y'all, they're like, oh, oh, oh. What's that song? Fortunate Son. It ain't me. It ain't me. The tax collector comes. The house is looking like a rummage sale, right? It's like, it ain't me. No, I ain't got. No, we ain't got nothing over here. No. No. So they leave you alone, right? Oh, all these women, they're after me for my money. You know how many times I've heard that in my life? Oh my God. Some people have really inflated egos about themselves and what they're capable of, right? Whereas collective, you've already achieved it. So you're kind of like, oh gosh, again, bored. Because you're just like, it's like watching reruns. For somebody out there watching me, this is a rerun for them. They're like, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? That's when people graduate into their giving no F's era because they realize it's a losing game if you try and you know why do I'm supposed to make amends? I will forgive them, and that means letting God take care of the justice, letting God take care of the karma or the dharma or however it's going to be playing out. And for a lot of y'all, you're like, I don't even want to know. But I know I can get up and go to sleep every day, and I'm fine. I feel fine. They're like, if I could go back in time, you're like, I don't need to go back in time. I need a good face cream, but I don't need to go back in time. Right? Uh, I need some good lightweight shapewear, but I don't need to go back in time. Just saying. Some things, it's like you accept the lesson and you move forward. All right, this is a very peculiar Valentine's read. I had some real high hopes for this. So, again, this says new love here. So, for some of you, maybe this is kind of part of the confirmation of the message where it's like if anybody who had anything to do with any of this stuff, where they just knew about it, you know what I mean, and you know that they know, you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff. This is the stuff where you can't overlook it anymore. um and I'm not saying that you have to go and hunt these people down and say this is what you did to me. No, what I'm saying is when they return, because often they do, or you will cross paths in some manner, right? That is when it's your job to set that boundary. Yeah, Six of Wands. You're going where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Mm-hmm. Might be attending some nice parties, some soirees, events, art openings, movie premiere type stuff. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? Um, and it's so funny. People think like this has to be done in like LA. And so this some of these things happen all over the country, all over the world. So, you the impact of people in this kind of mentality is a lot more far spread, right? Um, and dispersed than people think it's very concentrated, right? Yeah, and that is the truth of the matter. So there might be some contracts as well that you might need to be going over with either an accountant or an attorney, um somebody who's qualified. All right, again, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, so very logical going into this Valentine's weekend. Okay, so especially if somebody wants to enter some kind of contract with you, definitely have it reviewed. And don't just do it because, oh well, we used to, you know what I mean, or this is my ex so and so. There, yeah, here, King of Cups. Don't let the emotional component pull on you where it's like turns into that, back into that people pleasing. Okay, now see, we were doing so well and I didn't have to block anybody, but I just had to put somebody in timeout because they were just flooding the chat with the same repeating thing. I rerun. Okay. Little kitties. Oh, you know. Bye. Oh, your mom's here. Bye. Yeah, exact. You know, I mean, send them on their way. Okay. I think that's all I have for you guys right now. Please do like the video, especially if you've been in the chat today. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video. Chariot, Cancerian energy, you might be a little bit more in touch and aligned going into this Valentine's Day than maybe you have in the past. In terms of not letting the emotional excitement get the best of you. Okay. Because I know sometimes feel like they need to have this all or nothing, going for broke type mentality. Okay. And it's like, um, you're not supposed to be broken all the time. Okay. You know, it's like, so when people are like, oh yeah, that's my friend so and so, they're always having something bad happen to them, blah blah. Well, do you want to be the friend who there's always something bad happening to them? Right? Sometimes we have to say to ourselves, yeah, I've had a lot of stuff happen to me, but I'm ready for something different now. Yeah, I've had a lot of things happen to me, but I'm ready for my luck to finally turn. You know what I mean? Things of that nature where it's like, because some people are very ready to remind you, oh yeah, remember that time you got your ass kicked by blah blah. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up in front of my new girlfriend or my new, you know what I mean, or in front of my new boss, or you know what I mean. It's like, so some people are like, oh yeah, remember when we used to call you blah 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 and pick giant. Like, is that all you can even think about? Hey, when's the last time you picked up a book? You know what I mean? Understand sometimes the mentality that you're dealing with, and when you realize it's like, I was trying to impress that. Yeah. Forgive yourself, give it to God, and move on with your day. No sense keep on piling it in because too many cooks spoil the stew. Give it to God. Right? It goes all the way to the tennisaurs. Do you need the 10 to tell you? Or is 7 enough? You know what I'm saying? What was that show? 8 is enough? I've had it up to here. You ever hear that one? I've had it up to here. Anyway. Looks like the Olympics are back on, so I better go watch some of that. Anyway. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.